Om no kaha samastaha suki no bhavantu. May all beings be happy and peaceful. Hey, what's up, everyone? It's Phoenix here. Welcome to my channel. Let's talk about some of the unmentionables today. I know that I myself have been feeling pretty tired and unmotivated and have gone in and out of depression at different phases in the last couple of months. Not a serious depression, but enough to talk about it. And it's not just about me. I think that most people out there are experiencing some degree of this because we are, after all, in a post-pandemic era. We are in the middle of an economic recession. We are struggling with geopolitical conflict that's breaking out. We're essentially in World War III. Of course, it's not a hot war, it's a cold war, it's a war of information. And all of these challenges combine to create psychological pressure that is, let's face it, weighing us down. But the external is only one side of things. And I want to share with you some of my internal insights that I believe will be helpful. Let me just share with you that one of the reasons I get out of bed in the morning is this channel and the videos that I make here, because to me, it lights me up to think that there's someone out there who's listening to this and it's helping them, it's helping to brighten their day. It's helping them to feel a little bit better, and then they can take that out to their family and their friends, and it has a ripple effect. And I really believe that. And I think that if we come from a place of service and authenticity, that's going to be felt. And even if you can't measure that in a certain sense, in a physical sense, it actually has a tangible effect, not only on others, but it comes back and affects you and helps you to grow and expand as well. So that's the reason that I keep showing up. And actually right now, lately, I've been feeling pretty tired throughout the day. I feel like I have a virus, but I don't. I do, but I don't. And it's been really challenging actually to show up and make videos for a much smaller audience than I had a year ago. It's literally 1% to 2% of what it was a year ago. And yet, again, my motivation is to inspire others first and foremost. It's not about the money, it's not about the views, it's about being of service and following my path, following what my gifts and talents are, sharing them with the world. And there's the expression, if you know your why, then you can endure almost anyhow. I think you can endure anyhow if you know your why. So I don't know what this channel is going to look like in the months and years to come, but I'm just channeling, literally letting it flow through me, what I feel is going to be most beneficial. And of course, talking about various crypto projects and investments, that's just one side of it. And right now, it's not going to be the most helpful to the viewers on this channel and the people on this planet. So having things that help you to get out of bed in the morning. Another thing that gets me out of bed in the morning is this juice. Believe it or not, I love the way that this juice makes me feel. It alkalizes my body. And it's very small, it's very subtle, but it also, I feel a sense of gratitude when I look at the juice, and I look forward to it and actually include it in my videos because it's sort of a reward for showing up. So rewarding yourself, I think, is really helpful. And I find various ways to reward myself throughout the day with certain foods. And of course, they're healthy foods, but certain ways of treating myself and being kind to myself and being what is the most loving thing that I can do for myself in this moment. Now, having control over your emotions is obviously a process, and it's not always going to be easy. But I have certain expressions that I like to use, and I remind myself, like for instance, everything is always working out. The universe works in magical, mysterious ways. It's always supporting me. Onward and upward is an expression that I'm always saying to myself, reminding myself, all of the blessings, they come after the lessons. The lessons come first and the blessings follow that. So anytime I'm feeling the bitterness of being challenged by something, I also recognize that that's paving the way for a greater awakening and expansion. You may or may not be aware of this, but I have two boys. They're both in their teenage years now, and they require my love and attention. And I get to show up for them, whether I feel good or bad or whatever's going on in my life, I get to show up for them. And I keep thinking of this story this Indian story basically of a chicken. One of its chicks died and the chicken became really depressed. And so it wouldn't feed the other chicks. But of course it had to. It had a certain obligation to do so, but it refused to do it. And so a woman who was observing all of this, she took hold of the chicken and threw it in the lake. And the chicken had to swim back to the shore. And then as soon as it got back to the shore, she threw it back in the lake again. And it did this, it swam back again. She did it a third time. And by the third time, after it had swam all the way back to the shore, it immediately went back and started feeding its chicks. And why did it do this? Because in India, they have this idea of tamas, which is like this dull inertia. And usually the tamasic state of being is when we're sleeping, but we can feel it sometimes when we feel drowsy throughout the day, or when you're just lounging, watching TV. That's a tamasic state. Cows are very tamasic. And in order to overcome tamas, what do? You introduce rajas, which is this active, aggressive energy. And so in the case of the chicken, swimming brought out the rajas and brought it back to life, so to speak. And so this is something that we always apply, whether we're aware of it or not. So for instance, when you go for a run or you go to work out, maybe you don't feel like it. You go for a walk, you walk your dog, and you don't feel like you're going to even make it across the street. And then you get through it and you've taken some deep breaths, you've moved your body, your lymph fluid, your blood, and you feel better. And so I think that physical activity is so important right now, especially for those who work from home or wherever you are. If you're stuck in an office all day, you can get out and do some activity that's going to get you out of your head. And so even just at home, while I'm here and I don't have time to go to the gym, I'll just drop down and do a set of push-ups and just get some of that energy, get some of the blood pumping again, and try to envision myself being really healthy and really happy as much as possible. So that's why I meditate in the morning, and even 10 or 20 minutes in meditation, for me, I literally will light my body up visually with pure white light, just like I'm inside a blazing sun or a moon, whatever you want to see. And these are really simple, subtle practices that most people they scoff at or they ignore completely. But of course, where your attention goes, the energy flows, and you're literally controlling your life to a certain extent with your imagination. And so these are really simple practices, and it takes some rajas. You have to sort of rev the engine in order to overcome this inertia. And I think that as a collective, we're all feeling this right now. We're feeling tired. We're feeling like we don't want to move. There's a resistance to movement. There's a resistance to progress. There's that icy cold winter. But recognize that everything has its season, and the seasons, they will come and go. Winter will be replaced by spring. It will be replaced by summer, and gradually things will thaw out and get better again. And that's how it was the last time we had a recession. That's how it was the last time there was a war, there was conflict. You can probably remember those times and maybe how you felt. Now, admittedly, this is more difficult for most of us. For me in my life, this is probably one of the most difficult phases of my life for various reasons. But it's actually a really good thing. And so this brings me to the next point. Our perspective is so critical. How we perceive what's going on around us. Am I going to see this as an advantage or an opportunity, or am I going to see this with complete despair and see it as something that's holding me back? And so, yes, there are external forces at work here, but you notice people who they start to focus on the government, or they start to focus on this politician or this war or this pandemic, and then all of a sudden, they're just slowly, steadily giving away all of their power to that force. And they've given it away. They've forgotten about all the power that they have within themselves to control all the things that they can control. I can control my attitude. I can control my thoughts and how I perceive what's happening around me. I can control what I choose to bring to the world, how I choose to show up. Am I going to be of service? What is the way that I'm of service? It could be so subtle, it can be so simple. But if it makes you feel good, you're on the right path. And just the fact that you showed up and watched this video today says a lot about your character, because unlike most people, you're more focused on the inner growth and development, as opposed to give me the quick fix. Where can I throw my money? What pill can I take? What TV show can I watch? You're focused on you. And that is the most important thing. And that is what ultimately leads to our happiness and fulfillment. Because if we trust that inner voice, that inner knowing, and we tune out all of the negativity that's around us, because let's face it, there's a lot of negativity. It doesn't matter where you live right now. There's a lot of negativity out there, but it's not like, oh no, the negativity, I have to go, I have to run, I have to hide from this. It's like, well, no, there's the acknowledgement that it's there. It's there. It's great, but it's not going to have power over me. I'm going to continue to show up no matter what. So I just wanted to share that with you all today, and have the faith, keep showing up. This is another mantra of mine. Just keep showing up, Phoenix. Just keep doing what you're doing. And that feeling of pride and accomplishment starts to surface. And then you start to get some momentum. You get some wins in your day. You start, blessing people with mantras. You start meditating. And of course, you don't have to do all these things, but maybe you just smile at a stranger. Maybe you just say hi to the grocery store clerk and ask them how their day is. And all these wins, they start to stack one on top of the other. And then it changes your world, and it changes the world of everyone around you. What a beautiful world that we live in. What an opportunity to be in this human form and to be able to show up and to give back for all that we have been given in this life. So I hope that you enjoyed this video, and have a beautiful rest of your day.